What is going on there, everyone, and welcome back to another video from Dracon. Today we're going to be talking about this lovely little number here in front of me. This actually is kind of a sort of reminder of the GameStop that was nearby. Is gone now. Shame. I wish I'd been there before it really closed. I could have raided the store for even more stuff. But this is something I got last time I was actually at one. And as you can see, it is the Hero Quest Kellars Keep Quest Pack. Now, forlorn, this is an expansion, not an actual, full to play by yourself game. So if you want to play Heroes Quest, you'd have to still buy the main board game. And, this is basically just more miniatures to add for more monsters. On the front here, we get some nice artwork. On the back, I believe it's going to show what's inside. Yep, there we go. And here we have the Kellars Keep. Like a majority, we get a bunch of miniatures. We get 2 doors. We get some lovely little tiles and stuff, which we'll go over all these to, show you what we're looking at, because why not? I mean, after all, the more stuff you can use for your D&D games, / if you do play Heroes Quest with your friends, the better. So let's open it up. Let my sort of opening here get to work. You've seen it before, because it's piping hot and ready to slice it open. Okay, so first off, we have the quest book. Not really bad. Nice artwork there. We get Kellar himself on the back, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm just going off what I assume. We'll do a couple shots of the inside. Like, here's a lovely, well-made dungeon with the Great Citadel. Here's one called the Hall of the Dwarven Kings. Pretty nice looking piece here. We'll go with the third one just because. And here we are, the Dwarven Forge. I mean, you could definitely use these for D&D mapping, since it still pretty much looks like a D&D map. You get the lovely block system, and you could use those easily to represent 5x5 squares. I'm assuming the game works the same. I mean, the minis fit in the 5x5 squares, so most likely that's how it works. Got lovely indicators, tell you where to put the miniatures on the board when their rooms are probably entered. Got stuff to add, which I don't know if they have these tiles, but they probably do. But yeah, we'll take a look at those in a second, because why not? So let's go take a look at those tiles and see what kind of tiles we get with this bad boy. Okay, sorry about that. We'll just change everything up. So here's all the tiles we get with it. Looks like we get like some kind of wall piece tiles here, like wall. Got some trap doors. I'm going to guess that might be like monoliths or some strange, I don't know, but it kind of reminds me of those big blocks you find in Legend of Zelda in the old games and stuff, where you couldn't go past them, but they were just there. I mean, you could use it as a button, maybe, or something like that. You got like a big sphere object, like those large concrete spheres you find outside stores to just be decoration / like, they make so you can't park past it. Got some standard tiles here. You could easily use those as like regular games, or if you wanted to, you could use as a hallway extension between your regular dungeon tiles. Got some stairs, always useful. Got like a broken floor piece, spiritual hands. We got like a little bit of a dwarven forge down here. We also have a little knight's armor up top. So not bad. We got some good stuff here. Nice set of tiles, always good. But let's go, get to the main part of this, which is the most important, and check out the miniatures. And don't worry, guys. I did actually go ahead and quickly primed up some of them, just like with really quick. Actually, I wouldn't say I primed really. I just put some really. Yeah, actually, I did. I put some gray primer on there just to like dry brush on some gray primer, just so you can see some detail of those miniatures, because they're green doesn't really like to show up on the camera when I tried to test it. But let's see how this looks. Okay, let's take a look at each of these different miniatures of the multiples of each model. So here we get to the first and kind of the most unique creature. This is the Abominations. These are like a very crazy monster when you think about it. Pretty aggressive, pretty big fish man, and got large jaws. They carry a strange trident, like halberd almost looking piece there. And I gotta admit, these are pretty nice models. They look pretty good there. I mean, like I said, I'd give them a quick dry brushing of gray primer just to make sure they would be visible by you guys. So, I mean, this isn't a fully painted mini, but it's pretty good in its base. Definitely a good medium-sized creature. You definitely could use it as a Karatoa or some type of Sahuagin abomination they'd throw at you as like something they would enjoy watching it tear a player limb from limb. The idea, we know Sahuagins, they love their bloodlust and stuff like that. And Karatoa, their insanity could lead to them making these big abominations to fight for their behalf. So let's get a shot of them next to their fellow abominations so you can see the difference. So here's a group shot of all 3 abominations sitting next to each other. So you do get a nice, good, lovely total of 3 of these guys. So if you want to set up a good encounter and make some like water guards or something. These would be pretty good for that, or just some crazy water monsters. You could even use these, like I said, as Sahuagin champions or something like that, some bigger monster. I don't really think they work great for Sahuagins, but they would definitely work pretty good for like Karatoa champions. Like a champion of the Karatoa race would make sense for these big, bulky fishmen. Especially because they have like the fin, but it's not like a shark fin. It's more of like a fish sail on the head. And without having like, you know, that like sort of shark, more shark look appearance, they definitely would work good for Karatoa. So let's move on to the next model. Okay, so next up here we have the one of the orcs. They don't really have names for these orcs, but this one I would definitely say would be like a female cleric orc, or maybe like an orc warrior S. Mostly because like she is a big armored female orc, but lightly armored. She's got more of that orky armor, which I kind of like, not 100% perfect armor set. Like bits and parts mixed with like some of the cloak or drapery of like a cloth or loincloth type ideal. And I love the giant mace. Like I've always said, orcs. I love orcs carrying big, bulky weapons because that's totally screams an orc. I call this the orc mace wielder. That's just me, the female orc-ass mace wielder, because she carries these lovely giant large maces. I mean, like that thing looks like it would hurt if she plunged that onto one of your characters. And I mean, like obviously it's going to do probably regular mace damage or maybe a great weapon damage. I guess you could probably bulk it up to that. But let's take a look at her next to her fellow orc-asses with the mace. My bad on that. I actually miscounted. There's actually only 2 of each orc. I thought there was 3 for some reason, but that was my bad. But we do have a lovely shot here of what she looked like before. Then after a nice little quick dry brushing primer, as you can see, she looks pretty good. I really do like this set. Also in the fact that we're not just getting orcs, we're getting different like genders of orcs. We get us 2 groups of females and 2 groups of males. And like with the goblins here, we also get a set of female goblins, which is pretty cool. We're getting some more of the gender variation, which I think is awesome. Don't worry, guys, we will get a group shot of them all in the end, and I will put a many of larger size or more of like, you know, the actual D&D size monsters. I'll probably use Beaky the Owlbear from my Rusty Dragon inset that I repainted purple to make more D&D friendly. I think that one will definitely be, yeah, we're gonna use that for scaling, so we'll see that at the end. So just hold your horses, guys. We'll get to that at the end. We're gonna switch off to the next of these creatures. So here we have the orc-S sword swinger. As you can see, a lovely thing about these orcs, they have this nice segmented armor back kind of going on, which I think is pretty cool. I like the segmenting armor there because it looks like it would be, you know, useful as well as effective. I also like the chunky swords they're wielding, even though they're probably like a broadsword or a short sword to them. Pretty simple there. I like the design. I like kind of the sort of cut hair at one point and then letting the rest flow off to the side. It just looks, it screams orc to me, which is awesome. Another great female orc miniature, and definitely one I'm looking forward to getting around to painting these bad boys up and putting them in the old orc horde so that way I can have more orc types and variations in my games. Really awesome. Let's get to the male orc, shall we? I did realize I forgot to actually prime up one of these dudes too, but this is like the more heavy orc soldier, more of your standard male orc. He's got a little bit more armor on him than the females do, more of like an actual kind of set going on, like full set. Each arm and stuff has van braces. Like there's no bare parts, even like chest. It looks like he even has a helmet on. And I mean, like, you know, very simple, standard looking orc, but they're pretty cool. I like the big chunky sword. I mean, I am an anime fan, so I'm not too surprised. I like these big, broad weapons. Just kind of looks cool. And I think they have a nice imposing stance, that like kind of a little bit of a slight curvature in the spine, but yet that broad stance where it's like, I'm about to mess you up. That's a cool stance for these orcs. I like it. And they're going to be pretty cool to use some like bodyguard orcs or something like that, like some high guards or like, what'd you call them? Chief guards? Yeah, chief guards, because they're going to be like guarding the chief or something like that. Keep forgetting orcs or that type of thing. But let's get on to the last of the orc models, though, shall we? Here we have, I like to call the axe charger, just because he's got this sort of running stance with an axe. Based on how big his ears are poking off, you could probably use him for a bugbear, and I think you could get away with it. Yeah, he's not as hairy as a bugbear should be, like, definitely needs more fuzz in the body, but he looks pretty cool, and I gotta say, I like the, his style. I like the axe. It's got a good design on the axe there. The armor, once again, has that segmentation, so you do get that little bit of, unification, this uniform force they work with, which is kind of nice. I mean, this is what I kind of think would be more orcs going to war look, like that kind of idea. Like if they're in a war band, these are the kind of orcs they're going to have like walking around, and they're going to be probably like the more superior orcs than the standard village orcs, as these are the ones that go out and fight. Like they're kind of like the guards of the city, or sorry, the guards of their village and tribe. I would think they would be a great usage for that. If you're trying to make an orc village your group has to talk to, these represent like the different classes of like warrior orcs that your party may have to deal with. But now that we've finally gotten through all the orcs, let's get looking at some of the goblins, the little tiny folk that you might find around an orc village, but they might be kind of used as interns. Let's go with that. So here we have what I like to call the hooded cleaver goblins. They have these nice little shawls on, or actually shawled cleaver goblins would make more sense. But, you know, they're pretty cool. I mean, they got the standard goblin features, the pointy nose, the big pointy ears, the shrimp ear demeanor. They are still in medium-sized bases, so I guess if you really wanted to use it for, like, if you were playing an evil campaign, you wanted someone in the group to be like the goblin, but the butcher goblin. I carry around my butcher cleaver wherever I go, and I cut up my foes. You know, something like that. Or maybe you want someone in the group to be like more goblin rogue. That could work for this too. I mean, or, you know, this could be like a leader goblin since he's got more clothing than your standard goblin. And his weapon is not looking too shabby. I mean, it's a cleaver, like a simple, you know, chopper blade. But hey, that'll do the job when you're going up against opponents or servants, you know, stuff like that. Whatever these goblins are going after to either maim, destroy, or capture. You know, nothing wrong with that too. Orcs love to take prisoners so they can torture them and get information or whatever they need. I'm leaving it at that. Don't ask for any more details, please. Let's move on to the next of the goblins. So here we have your standard goblins. I call them the standard goblin. They're pretty simple. They got the simple clothing, simple big short swords or big daggers, whatever you want to call them. I mean, to a human class, that'd probably be a dagger, but to them, it's a short sword. I mean, they're simple, nice pointy ears, kind of big heads. So you could actually use them with Pathfinder. Their heads are just big enough that they could easily pass for Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons goblins without much issue. I wouldn't see them an issue with that. They are at a medium base once again. Not too bad, but I mean, these are probably some tough looking goblins, and comparatively to the other goblin minis, they're pretty tall. Like, they're pretty bulky inside, so I guess these would probably be like some leader level goblins, or at least some like elite levels to higher bodyguard goblins. So pretty cool. I mean, there's not much to say with these guys. They do have like what looks to be like a little rope on their wrist. Maybe they were also like a servant they were an intern goblin, so they were promoted to, you know, maybe cannon fodder, or promoted from that up to, you know, line mate, where they stand next to their orchid masters or their fellow goblins and, you know, roar at their opponent as they charge into battle to fight. But pretty cool. I do like them. They're pretty simple, but a good model nonetheless. And always with these sets, we do get the lovely doors. Most of Heroes Quest like to seem to give doors. And I like them. They're simple doors, but, you know, they have a nice detail on them. You get this nice kind of cool detail. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like evil laughing faces on that door, the wooden door, but it's kind of cool. I like the big skull door. That looks pretty nice for a good boss door. If you wanted your characters to get through it, that'd be great for these. Like, they could be special doors. Like, maybe if you have them going into a safe room, that could be the wooden door. So the characters, like, kind of giving your players, like, I'm going to go through that door. Why? That door last time seemed to be a safe room, so we'll keep that aspect going. Why not the other door? Well, that one's a scary door. And last time there was a big boss fight in there, or a mini boss. So let's not go after that door. And of course, you always throw it around to the rest of your players. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so I'm going to give you an overall shot with all the miniatures next to like Beaky the Owl Bear from the Rusty Dragon Inn set that I repainted. And that way you can get a good size comparison of how they stack up next to regular miniatures. So here's an overall shot, just some of them, all of the primed ones going up against a giant owl bear. And I mean, based on owl bear miniatures, yeah, this would be a big owl bear. Beaky is established to be a very large owl bear. I mean, look at the size of it versus these other miniatures of 28mm scale. Like, these would all be medium creatures going up against this large behemoth of an owl bear. And yes, I did paint Beaky to the 5th edition's purple owl bear, but I did go back with the classic red eyes for him, because that was a D&D staple, as owl bears actually had red eyes, not yellow eyes like owls. Kind of their standout traits. So I kind of chose some old and new to throw in there when I repainted this big bad boy. And as you can see, this would be a quite impressive fight, even though it's 3 goblins, which would probably go down each with a single claw swipe or crushing bite or something. The orcs would definitely be loving to fight such a mighty beast. And as a matter of fact, they'd probably try to capture it to make it their minion, or probably release it on their foes. Because, you know, orcs, they like big monsters that can throw a punch and throw a fight. Because, hey, or sorry, slugfest in a fight. Not throw a fight, that's unsportsman as orcs see it to throw a fight. But pretty cool. So I honestly have to give the Kellars Keep. If you guys can find it for a good deal, definitely pick it up. I mean, you're getting like a bunch of miniatures. I mean, you're going to get, what is it? 17 minis, I think, total, because I'm guessing, 8 orcs? Yeah, 17 miniatures total. You get some lovely tiles that are cardboard, but hey, better than nothing. You can always put them on top of your tiles, too, which makes them useful. You get 2 doors, and you also get some cards. I didn't go over the cards, because they'll probably just go into my card bin, but they're like, you know, some spells and stuff like that, like very minor effects and weapons. So they're not very useful, but I mean, like, if you are playing the card game, yeah, keep them for the board game itself, but you know, you could use them as inspiration for D&D, because, I mean, you got some, like, what is it, like, protections and stuff like that in there, so you could always use them for some inspiration of rules and stuff like that if they're not in the Game Master's guide, or if you just want to modify them to make it easier, all good. But honestly, I give this 2 thumbs up. This is awesome. I mean, I would definitely say it's a 4 out of 5 stars. The only thing I'd say, I wish the price was a little lower, just because, like, when I got it, it was, let me see here, I think it was $40 basically. Okay, no, it was around like probably 35, 36 after tax. Not too bad. I mean, actually, it's better than I thought it was. So, but I'm still gonna say 4. I think the only way this could be better is, man, I'm trying to think of what would make this better. I think if we had a even more dynamic variants, like I would have been fine with like a master. That's what it is. We need a master miniature to make these expansions better. I think if we had like the Great Wizard on the back himself, or a leading orc, an orc who screams like chieftain type orc, I think this set would be then a 5. It needed that one orc who stands above the rest. Even if it was a female orc, a chiefess, that would be even better. Like this giant chiefess orcan woman ready to lay the smackdown. That would have made this set a perfect 5 without question. But I'm definitely gonna say this is a solid 4. So really awesome. I definitely recommend grabbing this, guys. If you've come this far in the video, I thank you very much. As always, guys, make sure you, in this case, hack and slash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you have not done so already, and put your notifications to all. That way you're not missing out to try and, you know, get to see my new stuff, so YouTube algorithm doesn't stop you. We all know how it is. And yeah, guys, share this video to help grow the channel. And as always, guys, have a great one. See you next time. Bye-bye.